All right, drawing and painting one. We are now ready to move on to charcoal, and most of this you should be familiar with from foundations, but we're gonna, for those of you who have maybe transferred into the school or just haven't taken foundations in a while, I'm gonna go ahead and refresh you on some things. I know that you have a PowerPoint to go along with this, but I'm gonna run through and tell you what materials you're going to be using this semester. So you should really, you can use all of these, and most of these you're going to be supplied with today when we start the assignment. So we have a couple of different types of charcoal. We're going to start off with the black charcoal that we're using. We have 3 different types of black charcoal that we use. We have vine or willow, we consider one. And these are used for your lightest values. So vine is a charcoal that's really made from the grapevine, and it's burnt in a low oxygen fire. And then we have willow charcoal, and which is made from those willow trees, which is also burnt at a really low oxygen fire. So these are really all natural. They're very light and airy compared to the compressed. They're round. The willow charcoal tends to be a little bit lighter. So remember back to foundations when you covered the entire paper with the willow or the vine charcoal, and then you erased into it for that subtractive. The willow and the vine charcoals are going to be giving you your lightest values. So when you start off to get really, really, really light values, or you want to use the subtractive method, such as like with hair and stuff like that, you fill the area in with that, with the willow charcoal or the vine charcoal, and then you can erase into it because it comes back up. Then we have compressed charcoal, and compressed charcoal really is made from burnt or charred wood dust, and then it has a binder in it, and the amount of binder kind of dictates how dark the charcoal is and how much it kind of sticks to the paper. Compressed charcoal is only used for really large, dark areas. It's very messy, super dusty, hard to control, and once you put it down, it does not erase. It's pretty permanent. We have this in a pencil form, and this is, you guys are going to be given a 6B black charcoal pencil. So just like with those graphite pencils, you can buy different variations of like a 6B, an 8B, a 4B, and depending on how much binder is in there compared to that charred wood dust, which is actually the pigment for the black charcoal, depends on how soft that pencil is. So the 6B is going to give you really nice dark rich values, but it's in a pencil format, so you're going to be able to really control it and shade with it just like you would with any pencil. So the difference between foundations and drawing and painting one, though, is that not only do we use the black charcoal, but we also have white charcoal. And white charcoal is not actually made of chalk. I know a lot of people tend to think that white charcoal is made of chalk. Chalk is actually made of talc, which is not white charcoal at all. White charcoal is just like these organic materials, only they tend they fire at a lower temperature, and then they add some white pigment to it to give it its white, its really, really white value. We have a couple of different things here. We have compressed white, which comes in like a little square. You guys will each get a little piece of this. This is really expensive. And then we have a white compressed charcoal pencil, which is just like your black one, so you're able to really shade and render it. Now, in here I also included a piece of chalk. This round piece is chalk that is made of talc. I know students at this level really like to kind of blend and smudge. The compressed white charcoal is really hard to do that. I personally don't like to blend or smudge too much, but it's a personal preference. So you guys can use either or you might want to combine them. If you go to use the chalk, though, there is a thin kind of like wax coating that you have to kind of rub off in order to be able to use that chalk. So make sure, but then you're able to really blend with it. Whereas with this one, it doesn't blend a whole lot, okay? So they're your charcoals. We also have some different blending tools. You guys will each be giving a paper stump or a tortillon. This, you do not sharpen it, you do not unroll it, you only get one of it, but you're able to go in and really blend really tiny little areas. Your fingers are your best blending tools, but you can also, there is a box of Q-tips that you can use as well. If you would like to use those, please use those sparingly, because we also use them for our watercolor assignment. And then if you absolutely need to, you're more than welcome to use a little tiny acrylic paintbrush. It's a little bit stiffer, but you're able to go in and blend specific little tiny areas like eyes and things like that. And they actually work really well. Just make sure that you don't use them wet and that you clean them when you're done. We have a couple of different erasers over here. We have a white plastic eraser. You guys should each get one of these, only they're cut down into thirds, so you'll get a small one, which is okay. That's all you'll need. You guys are each given a kneaded eraser, and we talked about this in the last tutorial with the graphite pencils. You want to hold this in your opposite hand while you're working so it gets nice and warm and kind of gooey. But that works really well. I have a couple of these pencil erasers, and they're not made anymore, and I absolutely love these. So if you use them, please use them very carefully. They have this little string, and if you pull them just down to the little tiny line, you can unravel the paper, and then you're able to actually go in and sharpen this if needed, so that you can get a really nice point, so that you can get super detailed little eraser areas. And then we have sharpeners. So we have a regular handheld sharpener. You have one at each table. We have the sharpener in the back of the classroom. It tends to lock up if you use charcoal in it. I'm able to get it unlocked, but if I would prefer that while I am not in school, you guys are using the handheld sharpeners. And then if for some reason your charcoal pencil breaks, if you drop these, the inside lead is going to end up breaking, and it's going to end up breaking every time you go to sharpen it. Then you're going to have to actually whittle it down with an X-Acto knife from the teacher. She should have some up on the desk, and use those accordingly. So you have to be really super careful with those. Now, once everything is done and you're working, we have a duster. So instead of going with your hand and wiping off any excess charcoal, which is going to end up smearing your paper all over the place, you can actually go in and very lightly just dust this off with a duster. We have one in the back of the class, so you want to make sure that you use it just on charcoal or graphite pieces, and that'll keep you from smudging your work. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We do have different fixatives, so you know, when you're ready to make your work kind of permanent, you can use the spray fixative outside 3 light layers instead of one really long layer. Always works the best. Paper towels can be used as well, but these are going to be, you guys should each get all of these materials, a tortillon, all of your charcoal. You're going to get Willow, not Vine because Willow is lighter, all of the white charcoal and the chalk, a kneaded eraser, and a smaller version of the white plastic eraser, and a Q-tip as well. So you should get all of this, and then the way that you want to keep this housed is in a paper towel. You're just going to wrap the whole thing up in a paper towel and put it in your bin with your name on it, so that you can get your supplies out every single day. All right, so in just a couple of minutes we're going to start, and I will show you how to work on toned paper.